Hi guys, so what I want to do right now is just give you some information about how I want you to be using Noodle tools for your research project for the setting informational text. So you might have used Noodle tools in the past, you might be using it in another class right now, but you might be using it differently. So I just wanted to let you know the way I expect you guys to be using it. So when you go to noodletools.com, this is usually the first thing that you see, and you'll need to log into Noodle tools. So over on the right, it gives you the option to log in. You're going to click that, and there's two options. You can either sign in with a regular email or you can sign in with Google. That's the way we're going to sign in. And I will sign in so that you can see exactly what it'll look like. So you put in your sudbury-students.org account. It automatically knows that you're already a member here. And then you hit sign in with Google. Okay. So when you log in, you'll notice that you get to this page. And for this, I don't have any projects started, but you most likely have a bunch of projects here already from maybe even years ago. So I'm going to show you how to start a new project. So over on the left, you see this green button that says new project with a plus sign. You're going to click that and you can label it TKAM setting the setting. And it gives you some options. You should just keep them the way they are. So MLA style of citations is the way we want to be able to do this. And then it starts you at junior, and that's totally fine as well. So submit, and your project has been created. Now this page looks a little bit scary, but there's not too much you have to deal with. On this page, you're going to be living in your source button and your note cards button up in the top here. So let's start off with collecting our first source. Now you need a total of at least 3 sources for this project, so you'll have to create at least 3 separate sources. Some of you probably will have more than just 3 sources, but that's okay. This is how you do it. Once you do it the first time, you'll be an expert. So over on the left, it says create a new citation. You're going to do that. Now it gives you some options, and it's very important that you take some time to figure out what type of source you have. So for this, I have a website source. So I'm going to click website, but it also gives you the option to choose book with print or in hand. Also a database if you were to use a database for some research. So I'm going to click website, and it gives us even more options to choose from here. So let's take a look at our options. We have web page, anthology, book, film or video recording, journal, magazine, newspapers, all kinds of different things. So let's click into our source to try to figure out what this might be. All right, so here we go. This is a website article that is from Encyclopedia Britannica. All right, so for this, I am going to choose web page. And then it needs us to fill out some information to create that source card. So first thing it needs is the URL, which you can copy and paste directly from the website. And I will go ahead and do that to show you. Now, some awesome sources like Britannica have some information in the article to help you cite it. Like if you look over here on the right, there's a little button right here that will show you exactly what information you need to cite this article, which is awesome. But we're still going to do it through Noodle Tools, but we're going to use this information to help us. But I'm also going to show you where you can find this information within the article itself without using that shortcut. So here we go. The URL has been copied. It next asks us the date of publication. Okay. So for this, we're going to see article history, because that's an option that it gives us. And we're going to see that the article was posted and published way back on July 20th, 1998. So that's what we're going to be putting in there. So July, we're going to go ahead and search that. The 20th, and then 1998. Now this one's pretty easy. The most recent date of access, which would be today, you can click today, and it automatically fills in today's date. Now, the contributors, which is basically a fancy role for who published it, who wrote it, it gives you some options. So drop-down menu, author, editor, translator. We're going to hit author. And then we find at the top of this article, way back at the top in the introduction, we find that the author of this is Melvin Ostrowski. So we're going to make sure that we copy that down very carefully. It might take a couple of clicks back and forth from tab to tab. And it gives us a middle initial too, so you should use that. Middle initial is I, period. And then the last name is Ostrowski. U-R-O-F. S-K-Y. Awesome. Now, if there was another contributor or multiple authors, you could add that here, and it would just pop up another row so you could fill that information in. Now, the web page or document article title. That's not the top with who the publisher is or what the website is. That's the actual title of the article. So we know Jim Crow Law is the title of this article. Okay. And then the name of the website, of course, is Encyclopedia Britannica, and that is also the publisher. So we're going to copy that right into it again. I know it sounds silly to copy it twice, but the citation calls for it twice. Now, it gives you the option here of including the source in my final works cited, and you definitely want to do that because everything that you use for sources most likely will end up in your final works cited sheet, and this will do this. This will generate a works cited sheet for you automatically in the MLA style. So we're going to definitely keep that clicked, and we're going to submit. Awesome. So we have that first source added to our sources. Now, if we go over to note cards, we need 30 note cards for our project, 10 for each of our subtopics. Okay. So the first thing I want to do here is over on the right-hand side. This is an organizational tool so that we can add our note cards to each of our subtopics. And it automatically creates a topic for you, but we want to rename that. So we're going to edit that, and we're going to call it Subtopic 1, Paragraph 1. Okay. And then we're going to add Subtopic 2, Paragraph 2. And then we're going to add subtopic 3. And you guessed it, paragraph 3. Okay? And this will give us a place to organize our note cards based on our topics. Okay? So here we go. Let's create a new note card based in the source we just cited. All right, so we hit new on the left-hand side and we come up with this really awesome box. And it seems like there's a lot of work here, but it's pretty simple. I'll show you how. So the title. For this, we're going to say Jim Crow Law Fact. And then notice when you hit the drop-down menu here, that first source comes up as an option, and we want to make sure that we're linking them carefully. Now, let's go back to the article. This first sentence is very important. Jim Crow law in U.S. history, any of the laws that enforced racial segregation in the South between the end of Reconstruction in 1877 and the beginning of the Civil Rights Movement in 1950s. That's an awesome fact because it tells us when the Jim Crow laws were happening in the United States. So I'm going to copy and paste that directly right from the article into the direct quotation section. Now, let's say you wanted to paraphrase or put this into your own words. You could do that right here where it says in your own words, but this is where I want us to be filling out for every direct quote and any paraphrased information. Basically, what you're saying is, how does this fit with what you know or the information you need to know? And then what do you wonder? What could you follow up on later? For this, just start your analysis. So why is this important to your subtopic? So you can talk about the fact that the fact discusses the times in U.S. history when the Jim Crow laws existed. I'm going to spell exist right. Good. All right, awesome. And you can save and you can close. And it creates a note card over here on the left, and your fact right there is able to be seen. Now, what I want to do is I want to drag this over to the right-hand side, and I'm going to plop that into subtopic 1. Let's say subtopic 1 has to do with the Jim Crow laws, so all of the information in subtopic 1 will be listed here in this list, and it's not going to be all combined and be confusing later when you start drafting. Okay, so that is the basics of Noodle tools and how I want you to be using them for this project. If you know of any other helpful hints, let me know, because I am always interested in streamlining this process. And I think that any tips or tricks that I can share with you as we go through could be really helpful for all of us. All right. Enjoy your researching.